Chag Sameach and Shabbat Shalom. I'm recording this in my office on Thursday afternoon. You're probably going to receive this on Friday, on the seventh day of Pesach. This morning in synagogue, we read what's known as Kriyat Yam Suf, that is the crossing of the Red Sea, the miraculous deliverance of the Israelites from Pharaoh and the Egyptians as they pursued them after they finally let them go from Egyptian slavery. And we know there's this scene, and we know it from film, and we know it from literature of the Red Sea parting, and it's a time, supposedly, of great celebration. And yet, we know there's something else in this that our tradition reflects upon. It's connected to the reason that we took drops of wine out of our cups when we recited the 10 plagues. We did that because some of the sweetness of this evening was to be withdrawn, because we know at the same time that we were liberated, there were people who suffered. Yes, there were innocent Egyptian people who suffered. And it also speaks to the way we view the world when the world is in conflict. We don't want the suffering of all people. We want the end of a conflict. So the crossing of the Red Sea is seen as a redemptive moment and a time of celebration. But in the Zohar, in Jewish mystical literature, there's an expression that even Egypt had a guardian angel. And the guardian of angel was very concerned about the lives of all Egyptians. And the guardian angel of Egypt fought with God, saying, "Don't drown the Egyptians." But as we know in the story, the Egyptians perhaps did have to drown in order for the children of Israel to be free. We're witnessing horrific war in our world, and we're witnessing a war where the Russians do not distinguish between combatants and non-combatants. Blanket bombings of cities where women and little children and elderly people are being destroyed. It's not just an operation against the military. It's an operation against an entire population. It's so pathetic. In our world, there's developed a Geneva Convention, and there are actually rules of war, and there is something known as the ethics of warfare. Some people think that no war is ethical, and in fact, that may be true on a higher level, and yet we do see war in the world, and we need to impose certain standards in that war, standards that will protect non-combatants and that do protect women and do protect children and make that distinction. We pray for a world where there will be no more war. We pray for the safety of all people. We celebrate our liberation, but we understand that we don't live in a vacuum and that we must be fighting for the liberation, for the freedom of all. We pray for peace on this holy day. Join me in that prayer. Shabbat Shalom.